All right, y'all, come on in here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, kicking it with your girl, Queen B. Y'all on this good Saturday. So we're not gonna be moving around a lot on this particular reaction because I want y'all to focus on Charlie Kirk. If you don't know who he is, make sure y'all follow him on X, YouTube, and all of the above, okay? Because he's a really great guy. He has been doing like college, university tours and stuff like that, and been getting in the younger generation's tail because, as y'all can see, the children are definitely under attack. Y'all see what's been happening in these schools. You see the board. They sit there with the bimbo face. They don't care. These kids been reaching out, screaming. And what I enjoy about Kurt is he is going to get in that tail. And this is the younger generation. This is where it starts because, unfortunately, y'all, a lot of people are waking up. So where do we go to next? Yo, let's get the children because they're vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? They're easy to brainwash and all of the above. So I think it's very important that, yes, we get into these schools and we clean up house in schools, y'all, because education is at a all-time low right now. Now, come on. That is a huge problem. That is a huge problem. Okay. So we finna get into Charlie Kirk, y'all. Again, we're not gonna be maneuvering through different content on this particular reaction because I want y'all to pay attention to how the leftists, how they are brainwashing our children, and how we have to pray for our children, y'all, for real, because they are under attack. This is the next generation. These are the next presidents. These are the next people that go on to politician. You know what I'm saying? When we long and gone. So, of course, why not start young on their end? Anywho, y'all, we finna dive into it. And then we're going to chop it up in the comment section like we always do. Because I want to know your thoughts. With that being said, y'all, coming off of X, American AF. Dang, Charlie Kirk is too good at this. Let's dive into the video, y'all.
Thinking that you are a man when you are a woman, or thinking that you are a leopard when you're a human, how are they different?
Come on.
Listen, I'm not like a debate trained person.
I'm not. It's fine. You could tap. You could phone a friend in. I do this for a living. You do not. Come on. It's fine. You could bring as many of the trans zealots up to the mic as you want. So, as many purple-haired jihadis as you want to bring up to the microphone, you could do that.
I don't think my hair's...
Any volunteers? No?
Okay.
Here's the core of it. No one would care if a 30-year-old was wearing a dress. For years, we called them cross-dressers and no one cared. The problem is that we now have to change our language, our beliefs, to validate something that we know is not true. We must teach it.
It's a level of politeness. Like, the world changes. Like, you're not allowed to say certain things.
Oh, it could change for the worse, for sure. No one acknowledges that you can have digression. No one acknowledges that you can regress from something that has worked. We do not have to accept all progress as if it is good. Sometimes you can have progress over a cliff. And the transgender craze these last 10 years, a social contagion, is a very bad thing.
Okay, y'all. And so, like, while he's been doing these universities and things like that, you know, they've been chanting all over the world, you know, Charlie, MAGA, and all of these great things. So Charlie is really awakening these universities, colleges, and things like that, and majority of the students, y'all. So we're going to get in and we're going to listen to one of the students. She has a very touching story, and I want to share this with y'all, and then we're going to get into what I would like y'all to see today, how just so far gone the left is in these colleges, these universities, these schools and stuff like that, and why it's very important that we get back to our children. Okay, we take back our children. All right. Charlie was stunned by this woman's story at Defaint L on X, y'all. So you want to follow this person. Let's get into it.
I got pregnant, and I decided I was going to do the right thing. At 18 weeks, I found out that my amniotic sac tore and attached to my spine. Doctor said there's no other option. I did induce. I gave birth. When I started getting pills, the doctor said, well, your life wasn't actually at risk of death in that moment. And so pain that abortion caused me, I stayed in a relationship for a year. I allowed a man to know a little about myself. I drank, I used drugs, and if it hadn't been for Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior,
amen, amen, amen.
You are healed and forgiven. and one day you'll meet that little one in heaven. Do you believe that the medical industry lied to you?
So, birth to her, I was holding this little child. I mean, was a baby, had hands and was a life, and I knew. I was like, well, I had no right to take her life, and I felt like I was put in a position.
What is your advice for women that are being lied to by doctors right now?
That death does not feel anything.
Why do you think doctors are so intent on death?
At the end of the day, it is money. We've been so brainwashed that death isn't a big deal. Abortion's not a big deal. It's just, it is.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Yes,
that it's
thank
part
you.
Of God's plan to bless you with more children.
Dang, that's deep. You get what I'm saying? More money in their pockets. They don't really give a dang. And that's the sad part. That is the sad part. Now, which brings me to this, y'all. MS-13 gang defender gets destroyed by Charlie Kirk. Y'all, we finna dive into this video. And I want y'all just to listen to Charlie and listen to this young adult on here as they debate on MS-13, a Maryland dad that was taken away, you know how the media was saying, taken away from his family, all of the above. And then as you sit back, you start to learn so much other things about this person and what he was, tied to. So I just want to show y'all how we have to take our children back. We got to get back in these schools, colleges, universities, y'all, because these are our children. And again, these are the next presidents, of the United States. These are the next people that will step into some of these places, so it is very important that we pray for our children, because I keep stating they are under attack, y'all. They are. But we the people voted for who we voted to go in and clean house, and that is going to get done. Y'all see what has been taking place thus far. Let's dive into the video.
Hello. First of all, I just want to say I have a lot of respect for you, but obviously we just disagree on a few things. The main thing that I just want to talk about is the issue of immigration. And I personally, I don't think it's a bad thing for America. In fact, I do think that it's an amazing thing for America. But mostly the thing that I'm trying to hit on is like how many immigrants are being persecuted right now, including Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Yeah.
Before you respond, or before I even say anything, I just want to acknowledge the fact. I want to acknowledge the fact that we are right now on stolen land, and that we are on indigenous land, and that we are on original Mexican land right now. And for a lot of you guys that are Latinos of Trump, for Latinos for Trump,
listen to him. Hey, let go.
Personally, I am a second-generation Mexican Guatemalan. And I am blessed to have been born in America, although I do not think that Mexicans for Trump should stand for the Latinos in this country.
Wow. Just listen, y'all. Okay. Just listen.
Now I get in. Now I'll
wait. So I just want to make sure. I love this stolen land argument.
Okay.
If we stole the land and you're mad about it,
I'm not saying that it's not a better country right now. I'm just saying that right now, especially like the things that we're taught in school, in public education, we're taught about the Alamo and how it was this amazingly a patriotic act, though it was literally stealing a base from the Mexicans in their own land. I think that that's kind of the wrong angle to be looking at things, and that's why I really make it a point to notice that I'm on stolen land at all times, especially when we think about things like manifest destiny.
Who did the Mexicans steal the land from?
Actually, the Mexicans were there originally in Texas.
No.
Come on, Charlie.
Wrong. They stole it from lots of Indian tribes. That's not correct. Thousands of years before, they were Indian tribes. So the Mexicans actually
the Mexicans
stole
were
the land.
originally Mexicans were Aztecs and Mayans. And
well,
many
some of
other
them, hold on,
indigenous
Texas
people.
was not indigenously Mexican, though.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Cherokee. There were many different Native American tribes there. So Mexico was participating in Manifest Destiny at the behest of the Spanish crown.
Yes, at the behest of the Spanish
so
crown.
at some point, you have to believe in self-determination.
Okay.
If you can win the land, it's yours.
Okay.
That is what built the West.
I can agree
and
with
so
you on that.
instead of
thank you
saying
for
land acknowledgement, we're on stolen land, you know what you should have? You should have a gratitude acknowledgement. Praise God, I live in America. I'm glad. A gratitude acknowledgement.
Come on,
nice.
Charlie.
What is your question?
Okay. So my question is, how can we protect American-born Mexican.
Hold on.
People.
First off, time out. You said Kilmar Garcia. That
Yes.
He's not
So,
American-born.
I'm sorry. It's gonna connect to it. It's gonna connect to it. I promise you. Okay. So now that the body cam footage has been released and everything, they were purely basing the idea that he was part of MS-13 on the idea that they had that he was. No, he's not. So they're purely basing that on the fact that he had tattoos and the fact that he had 8 men in his car that were going to a construction site.
Charlie going to the fact sheet.
Do you think personally that toothbrushes and toothpaste is purely the only thing that we can go on when to gratify like the idea that somebody is a human trafficker?
Hold on a second. I got a lot of questions here. So let me just say as a side note, the left's fixation on a wife-beating, child-abusing MS-13 foreigner, as if that's the big fight that they want to have, is so morally disgusting with so much suffering having. But no, that's number one. That's a side note. But I want you to explain this to me. What are these tattoos exactly? Is that not an MS-13 gang tattoo?
I've never seen anybody affiliated with MS-13, but I think that it could be a multitude of things.
So what is that? That's marijuana M, smiley face S, cross 1, skull 3.
Okay.
That's MS-13. Number two,
multiple people,
what was Kilmar Garcia? No, let's go through the facts
Come
because
on.
you brought up the facts. Number two, what jersey did Kilmar Garcia wear on a routine basis, and what was the significance of it in the Maryland jurisdiction of gang territory?
He wore a Michael Jordan Bulls jersey.
Yes, and what is the significance? What gang wears Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jerseys in the Maryland proper area?
Okay, now to flip that on
MS-13, got it. So in the charging document,
you
talk uninterrupted. Time out. Time out. Yes, you happen to live in
Calm down, cowboy. Calm down.
Multiple people, white fence, and the Crips of this area wear Dodgers jerseys. So do you think that I would be affiliated with white fence in
hold on a
East
second.
LA
It's called a
no. You can't.
It's accumulation of facts. Let me finish.
You can't bring
Allow me to.
Calm down,
I
youngin.
absolutely can. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish.
Look at these people. Look at these people that are wearing MAGA hats right now.
Allow me to finish.
Could I say that they're part of a big gang?
Allow me to finish.
Could I say that they're part of a big gang?
Allow me to finish. Can I finish?
Yeah, of course.
You have the hand tattoos. You have the fact that he told the judge in 2019, I'm afraid to go back to El Salvador because another gang will come after me. Allow me to finish without interrupting.
Civil war.
Allow me to finish without interrupting. Allow me to finish without interrupting. Number three, he wore the Chicago Bulls, which is a gang affiliation in the Maryland area. Now, if you're in LA wearing a Dodgers jersey, that's one piece of evidence. If you're wearing Bulls gear day after day in the Maryland area, and you have MS-13 affiliated things, and you're telling a judge that you're part of a gang, and your wife has filed declaratory distress relief because you're a wife beater, and then finally the fact he's not an American, he broke into this country, and he does not afford the same rights that Americans are.
I'm sorry, but to sort of put that on you, right? He had a green card.
He did not. That is not correct. Wrong. That is not true.
Was he married? Was he married? No. Was he married to an American citizen?
Does not matter. Time out. The judge. See that you got your facts so wrong. The judge said, "Sir, Mr. Garcia, you will be deported at any time for any reason back to any country. The only country I'm not allowing you to go be deported to was El Salvador."
And why was he deported to El Salvador?
That's the only mistake.
Why was he deported to El Salvador?
Because he was caught up. Time out. It's not that he was deported that it was wrong. It's not that he wasn't part of MS-13.
Well, the fact that he was deported was wrong because he didn't have any due process. Actually,
no. He had the most due process of any illegal in the history of the country.
That's actually incorrect. He's going through it right now while he's in El Salvador.
Hold on.
He's going through it right now while he's in El Salvador.
In 2020, he had due process. The judge literally signed an order saying, at any time ICE can come and get you. This is your final warning, Mr. Garcia. They might come and scoop you up. What do Andrea Bocelli, Steph Curry, Justin Bieber, and Tim Tebow have in common? All of their mothers were encouraged to end their pregnancies. When a woman faces an unplanned pregnancy, she is often pressured to end her child's life. She wants to make the right choice, but society and those around her are telling her that her baby is not a life. That's where the Ministry of Preborn steps in. Preborn and their network of clinics offers compassionate, loving care to mothers and the support they need to help them choose life, including a free ultrasound. Once a mother hears their child's beautiful heartbeat, she is twice as likely to choose life. If you consider yourself pro-life, it's time to join forces with Preborn. I'm a donor, and you should be too. Together, we can empower women to choose life, empower the truth of motherhood, transforms families and futures. One ultrasound is just $28, and a $140 gift will help to rescue 5 babies. When you donate monthly, you'll receive stories and pictures of lives you helped to save. Please dial #250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, baby, or visit preborn.com/Charlie. That is preborn.com/Charlie, sponsored by Preborn. And by the way, I just find it so interesting. You do know the fact he beat his wife, right?
Okay, you do know the fact that Donald Trump has raped multiple women and his wife.
Oh, Lord, here we
He's
go.
a rapist. He raped his wife and multiple women.
He raped his wife, really?
And he's on record.
Which
and he's
wife
on record
did he
saying,
rape exactly?
Ivana.
Oh, he raped Ivana.
I do believe so, yes.
Oh, and what's your evidence for such a claim? Because I have evidence of court documents that Kilmar Garcia beat his wife. Want me to read it? In 2021, Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer Vasquez-Tura, filed a protective order.
Let me just tell the young generation something. When you're going up against anybody who actually goes in and research, like Charlie Kirk himself and stuff like that, and you see how he has documents, sheets, papers, facts, you too, if you gonna say something, you have to be able to bag what you're saying up or it's irrelevant. I learned that from a long time ago. A judge told me, look, if you ain't got no paperwork, no documents, you might as well say it's over with because there's nothing, there's no proof. You don't have anything. You're just, at this point, speaking. You don't have nothing to back that up. And that's why it's very important to research and find out the information. Just don't go off the fake media news or go off what, these crazy leftists are telling you. You have to be able to dig for yourself, find out for yourself. Don't take it from me, but really get in the grind and research and have the paperwork to bag it up. And now we will probably have a real great debate. Okay. Like, come on, young generation. Come on, youngin. Let's go. Learn from what you're seeing right now. Let's get it.
Order against him, alleging instances of physical abuse, including being punched repeatedly and scratched. She then filed a second order trying to protect the children from him abusing them on a nearly weekly basis.
Wow.
In 2019, Abrego Garcia was arrested in Maryland alongside other individuals. Authorities claimed repeatedly that were experts saying that the traits of his behavior, his iconography, and his tattoos were MS-13, such as specific clothing and tattoos, citing information from a confidential informant alleging from his gang membership. The judge agreed and signed his deportation order. What is the issue here exactly?
Has he specifically stated that his tattoos were... That's ironic when... Okay. Has he specifically stated that his tattoos were an affiliation of MS-13, or is that being a narrative being controlled by the Trump administration? Because Trump, let me bring this up. Trump did believe that he physically had MS-13 in the interview that literally just aired a few days ago, where he said that he didn't believe that it was photoshopped MS-13 because weed, smiley face, and skull. How are the skull and crossbones and the cross going to be thought of as 1-3?
Well, that's an interesting question. If it wasn't MS-13,
stay high, smile till I die. Stay high, smile till I die.
If it wasn't MS-13, why did his girlfriend blur out the tattoos on his hand in the recent images they posted together?
There's a point.
If there's nothing to hide, why wouldn't she show it for the world?
I mean, yeah, you're actually that was a good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, let me just bring that up into I want to.
There's nothing to hide. She'd say, "Hey, here's the tattoos." That she's blurring them out in all the images. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Nothing to hide. Let it ride.
Yeah.
Let's
now,
go.
I kind of want to just transition that into the entirety of immigration.
Last point, then we got to get to more work.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously Trump has floated around the idea of quote unquote deporting homegrowns for the quote most horrible and violent offenders or whatever. So how can we as Americans stop Americans from being persecuted by those, especially ones that aren't of white color? Especially ones that are not of white color, because ICE has repeatedly been on ICE has repeatedly persecuted Mexican Americans and or just Latino Americans for having tattoos and dark skin. How can we prevent people from being that's actually not a lie. That's actually not a lie.
What is your evidence for this?
Multiple articles and multiple and multiple newsletters that have, multiple news broadcasts that have let us know that ICE is racially profiling people. My father is obviously not white skinned and has multiple tattoos. How can I make sure that he is not taken?
Is he a legal citizen?
I'm talking about when we get
Is he
into
a legal citizen?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, then he's got nothing to worry
Homegrown,
about.
but I just brought up the fact of the
Kinda
idealization
hesitated
of
there.
homegrown, like kicking
He's
out
got
homegrown
nothing to
people.
worry about then. This is all targeted at illegals that have broken into our country. These are people that have broke into the United States
And what
of
makes
America.
them inherently bad? Because there's multiple people that overstays their visas,
Because they've cut in line. So you wait in line this entire time to ask a question nice and patiently. Is it right for someone just to cut in line after you've waited? Other legal immigrants that have waited to come into the United States.
That doesn't really work because we were moved in a specific order. The same thing happens here, where we're moved into a specific order. Other people are prioritized.
Are you allowed to cut in line to come into a country?
I mean, from personal familial experience, my family are all American citizens now that came in illegally. Like I will admit that, like they came in illegally, and my family did the right process. They overstayed their visa. They came on a trip, but they did the right process. Why is it that like we are simply only persecuting those that are like coming in illegally and want to just live a normal life? Everybody's
not matter.
You can't live a normal life if you're coming in illegally.
Everybody's bringing up murders. Everybody's bringing up rapists.
There's a lot wrong here.
But what's wrong with that is when rape is committed by men, 51% of all rape is committed by white men. White
Oh, wow.
men.
Here we
Okay, yes,
go.
and guess what?
So why are we
go.
pinpointing?
Hold on.
Why are we pinpointing a Mexican
you're
from
all-
the crowd
you're all
and saying,
over the place
"Oh,
here.
he's a rapist"?
Again, what should the penalty be if someone breaks into America?
I'm sorry. One more
What
time?
should the penalty be when someone breaks into the United States of America?
Personally, I think we should help them get processed into the country.
Help them home. That's the only thing. We should send them back to Nicaragua, Guatemala,
the country should
Mexico.
Become home. The country should become home.
Oh,
especially.
so wait, hold on. I want to understand. Do you
on.
invite random people into your home and be like, "Hey, you could just squat on my floor and eat my food"?
Hey guys,
No.
so that's how you make friends, actually. So when you
Oh,
when you go to a random
Lord.
person, and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, come over to my house," what happens?
So you will just go to a random homeless guy shooting up under a bridge and be like, "You're allowed into my home. You're my friend, Jerry."
Why are we comparing a homeless man to somebody in need of like
Because
an
they
actual
both
sanction?
need government services, or they come into your own
Also-
property or your own domain without invitation.
And I think it is ironic of you to bring up especially Guatemala right now with the thing that just happened in Tucson, Arizona, right? A Guatemalan woman was detained after giving birth. That child is now an American citizen. Why should the mother be sent back and not to help be here to help her child grow?
Yes, they could both be sent back to Guatemala together.
That's not true because the child was born here.
Doesn't matter.
And
You could still be a U.S. citizen and live in Guatemala.
Well, and under the Constitution, it is now an American-born citizen.
That's highly debated. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway,
Well, why not? Why not?
because
not?
we've already been going
It is
for
now
quite
an
a while.
American citizen. It is
Again,
now an
that's-
American
that's
citizen and should be
birthright
a
citizenship.
product-
I believe is not constitutional, and I hope that they'll overturn it.
Birthright citizenship is not constitutional.
I believe
Yet
it's
the
not.
people that, again, going back to
Okay.
what we originally spoke about, the people that came over here
Again,
were then given
I
birthright
just-
citizenship. So that means
when-
that everybody here should not
when
have birthright
somebody-
citizenship. It just
No,
does not
no,
make some.
there
It does not
should
make
be-
sense in your opinion.
Again,
the way that
there
you just
should be.
stated, that just doesn't make sense. That just does not make sense.
Again, you're talking very fast and not making a lot of sense. So let's try to slow it down. Okay. The final moral question:
Okay.
if I went into Mexico
Yeah.
without proper documents or invitation, what happens to
People
me?
do it all the time.
What happens is what he want to know.
What happens?
They ain't
Are you
having
saying if you
it.
get caught? Are you saying?
Yeah, if I get caught, what would the Mexican government do to me?
I guess deport you.
We should do the same. Thank you so much.
At
They
the
do the
end
same
of the
because
day,
Mexicans
like,
do it.
come on.
They do the same because
Nothing
Americans do it.
else matters. Like, all of this debate, and you just said, y'all,
Hello.
all of this debate, and at the end of this, you just said, what happens if we were to go down there and not do it the right way? What will happen to me? He tried to beat around, but he said you'll be deported. So why in the hell can we not do the same ish here? Why do we have to do due process when they came in here the wrong way, y'all? And this is just to go to show you that hopefully, this plays back when he, really understands, because, he had some points, you know what I'm saying? And so did Kirk. And this is what it's all about at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? These kids are being brainwashed, and you see where he got his articles and things like that. And it takes more researching. It takes more maneuvering around to try to find out the facts of things. And just take it from Charlie and the rest of the people who actually have receipts, have, documentation, have these things to be able to fact check these people when they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? But this just goes to show you how the past administration and so many other people are gunning for our children. You know what I'm saying? Because again, they're vulnerable. They can pretty much take me for example. I was out just, fake news and all this other type of stuff. And I didn't care to go research or do anything. And that's the problem too. A lot of people don't care to go research. They don't. They really don't. So it's very, very important, y'all. Don't take it from me. Do your homework. Okay. You want to fact check somebody. You want to feel good about it. Do your homework, research, and just know the meaning of all the stuff that is taking place today in this world. It don't take nothing, 0.00, okay, to find out this knowledge for yourself. But we have to continue to pray for our children. Pray for these schools. Pray for these universities, colleges, y'all, because a lot of people don't even care that Trump is the president and that he's trying to make change. A lot of people are just like this young individual, okay? It's a lot more of them that are lost and that are diving into articles and fake news and all that to get their fact checking sheets. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all enjoyed this just as much as I did. Y'all continue to pray for our children. They are under attack. These are our babies. These are the next generation. So we have to keep them covered. Okay. I want to know y'all thoughts. Let's go.